Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to finish up one of the videos I left on last week, and that video was dealing with overcoming heartache. And I want to finish it up tonight. It is a very chilly night tonight, guys. I feel like the snow is coming here in Memphis, Tennessee. But anyway, I hope your evening is going well. This video tonight is going to be a little different. It may be a little painful. It may get you upset, but I hope that most of all it'll get you thinking. And one thing I realize is that when you love people and when you try to be supportive and encouraging to others, one thing you can't do is walk on eggshells. If I'm in a situation where I'm doing something that's very detrimental to my health or my life, or the life of others or people around me, I want the people around me that love me, that care about me, that encourage me to be honest with me. And so therefore, I do love you guys, and based on the things that I've experienced in my life, I've learned a lot from that. And so I have to be really, really raw and very honest about things when I'm sharing. And hopefully this will get you to thinking about your walk and where you are in your space. And so I'm going to start with this. The last video I was just kind of overviewing situations and things and how you get yourself to that part. I'm going to talk about tonight is how do you prevent those things. A lot of times we see the signs, they're always there in our face, you know, and women, we are just by nature just that forgiving type of woman, which is not a bad thing. But sometimes you got to know when enough is enough, and you got to know when to say no, and that expressing that something hurts you and that something that there are things that you will not tolerate is very important. So when we have to stop allowing men to mistreat us and hurt us and put us in those positions where we start feeling worthless or like we're not valued. And it takes us a long time to crawl out of that hole once it's there. Once you dig yourself down there, it takes a lot to come out of that. So stop it and don't allow yourself to be put there. And what I mean by that is when you see the signs, when a person has been blatantly disrespectful to you, when they have cheated, lied, we tend to always say, okay, if I just give them another chance, if I just overlook that, I got to be understanding because, you know, I got to wait for him because, you know, he's not on the level I'm at. He's not as mature as I am right now. But when you go into a relationship, especially talking to women that are middle-aged, 40 and up, I'm going to give you 40 and up, even some 30s, but I'm going to start at 40 and up. At 40, you've experienced a lot of life. You've been through some stuff. You have been through some things. And so at that point of life, your life should be evening out. I remember my dad telling me, I think I was like 45 when he said, these are the best years of your life. He said, it's time for you to just live. And that's true because when you're 20s, you make a lot of mistakes. You're learning, you're still growing. In your 30s, you're still trying to work out the kinks. You know, you're trying to really get established and get those things, you know, your life together and your career path going. But in your 40s, it's time to like chill out a little bit. So it's a lot of things that you should absolutely not tolerate. And one thing if I can't be in a relationship with somebody that is loyal and that's honest, and that I feel that I can trust and I don't have to worry about, it's not worth my time. So no matter if I've been in a relationship with someone for a while, I have to value myself more. So that means that if you get in a relationship and that person makes you feel worthless, why are you still trying to work it out? Because you already feel worthless. You know what I'm saying? So why are you trying to salvage that relationship? If a person cannot treat you the way, at the least, that you treat them, they're not worth your time. And it's no giving them a chance to get better. sometimes you have to just cut those ties and go on. I do know that. I know this. God gives us all an opportunity to get our life together and get ourselves straight. And He is the forgiver of all things. And He asks us to forgive. But God gives us wisdom. And that wisdom you have to exercise in your life. And God don't want you to have people in your life that's not going to treat you with the respect and the love and care that you give to them. So when you feel like you're worthless, that is the time to say, this stops. Why do you want to keep wallowing in that feeling of worthlessness? Why would you want that? Sometimes I get very, very upset when I see young people that are in these relationships and the men talk to them very disrespectfully. And let me say this, and just in case any men are watching this video, I'm not saying that women don't do this, but this video is actually just directed to women. So if any of you men chime in, please note that you're on the wrong video, because I'm talking to women right now. There are women out there that are manipulative and they do bad things and they mistreat and they hurt just like, men do. But right now I'm talking to women, because we have tendency to get people feedback on your videos and it's not directed to you. So just putting that's just for free. That was, I just put that out there. But getting back to what I'm saying is that if you can't feel good about that person, doesn't elevate you or make you feel good, because that's what a relationship is about. It's enhancing. It's supposed to make you feel better. It's supposed to add to your life. If it's subtracting from your life, then it's not worth your time. If it's subtracting from your life, it is not worth your time. And that's just the bottom line. And I will not have a person who talks to me disrespectfully, let alone treat me disrespectfully, because I treat people with respect. And so if I do that, that's what I want to receive. So when you start allowing a man to, curse at you, whether it's just, some people just like F you, or you get on my damn nerves, things of that nature. I don't allow that, because if I'm talking to you, then I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to use the kind of language that I want to receive back. If we can't talk to each other like that, then we need to part. If you're that angry where you can't talk to me in a constructive way, we don't need to conversate, because that is disrespect. And when you allow that, when you let little things like that slide through, the next thing you know, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And the next thing you know, he's calling you out of your name. And, it could just go from there and just elevate, And that may not be your issue, but that's just a small example of what I'm saying. When you allow little bitty things to slide in, say for instance, you got him out, every weekend he's kicking it with guys, and they're at the bar and they got these women friends, or they're at the strip club. When you allow those things, if that stuff make you feel uncomfortable, then don't allow it. Don't allow it. And here's the conversation you need to have. You need to let them know, these things that you're doing, I'm uncomfortable with. And if a person really cares about you, they're going to honor that. I'm not saying unrealistic things like, he's not able to go out with his friends. But if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, then that is something you need to speak up about. We oftentimes, as women, we keep things in. I have married friends who allow their husbands to just stay out all times of the night. They're at, bars 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Why? If you have a wife and family at home, why are you out at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning? If this is not a church male retreat and you're not staying in a cabin in the woods, or somewhere at a hotel, and you're bonding with men in a spiritual sense, or some type of work related thing, you have no reason to be out with buddies at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And you have a family at home, a wife and children, or even just a wife. And that was my problem, because the first time I allowed my husband to go out with his friends, and he pushed it and came in at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was upset, and I made a statement about it. But guess what? He was like, oh, I'm sorry, baby, it won't happen again. We just got to drinking, or, we stood there, we hung out a little longer than we thought. And I was like, okay. The second time it happened, and the third time it happened, he always had an excuse. But the reason was because I did not make him know matter of factly that absolutely could not happen again. And my thing, and what I'm saying is that men who truly honor you, and this even before the marriage stage, is not going to violate you in a way that makes you uncomfortable. And at that point, when you see that it's happening, that's when you need to end the relationship, because it's not going to change if you just continue to allow it and allow it and allow it. And I'm not saying that it's not times that things happen that you won't forgive them for, but you have to think about that. When you forgive the one time, if it's something that really, really gets into you in your gut and you forgive it, just know it's going to come around again. So at that point, you'll have to decide whether you say, I told you I didn't need this to happen again, and end that relationship. I'm not talking about minute things, differences of opinion with, who does the housework or, things of that nature. We're talking about things that have to do with respecting you, things that you value, things that make you feel important. We're talking about those type of issues because, every couple have spats. But when it comes down to disrespecting the relationship, disrespecting you, then that's when you have to draw the line. And we get ourselves in that situation when we allow it, and then we're caught up in the cycle of it, and it just happens over and over again. And every time that it happens, it's chipping away at you, it's chipping away at you, it's chipping away at you. And before you know it, you feel like you're not worthy of anything. You feel like, well, it must be something wrong with me that he won't treat me this way. But that's because you allowed him to keep chipping away at you. You got to stop that. I feel like anything worth having is worth waiting for. There is a guy that is really, really nice that I know that I think is a very attractive man, and I feel like it could really probably be something. But I have to know how much he values me as a person and how much he respects me as a woman and how special he's going to make me feel and important and a priority in his life. Those things are important. And all of those questions have to be answered. And any person that values you is going to answer each and every one of them. He's not going to say to you, I'm not telling you this, or, I shouldn't have to tell you this, or, you're too insecure, or you're just too jealous. A man that values the woman that he is with and that loves you and that wants to see this relationship be successful is going to answer each and every question, and he's going to show you each and everything. See, one thing we stop doing as women is allowing a man to be the man. We got to allow them to be the man. And men have a responsibility to step up and act like the man and show you what you are. If you feel that you should be valued and treated like a queen, allow him to treat you like that queen. Don't let him take away from that. And when I say queen, I'm not talking like what these young people talk about. It's not about money and all of those things, because a man that loves you is going to protect and provide for you. So we're not even talking about that. What we're talking about is when it comes to showing you the respect that you deserve as a woman, putting you first above other things outside of the relationship. If you can't get those things before the marriage, there's no need in going there. And I even tell my daughters that, because what you're dealing with now is just going to go into the relationship. It's not going to change because you've allowed it to happen through the course of that relationship. So a lot of times the relationships that we get ourselves in, ladies, is our fault because we allow too many things to slip through the cracks before we clean it up and stop it before we go further. Whether it's being in a relationship with someone for 5-10 years or whether we married them. When you see the signs, you got to shut it down. If you don't shut it down, it's only going to continue, and then it's going to escalate at some point. So you got to just learn to say, no, this stops now. And then stand up and you look him in the eye and you say, if I can't be treated with respect And a lot of times I use the whole scenario about your mom, the way you would treat your mother. And that's another way, ladies, that you can see what type of man you got based on how he treats his mother. And if he doesn't have a good relationship with his mom, or if he talks crazy to his mom, you can sure believe that he's going to probably talk that way to you. So you can look at that. But if he treats his mother with respect, you tell him that. You say, I want you to treat me the exact same way you treat your mom. The love and the value that you have for your mother is the way that I want to be treated. And if I can't be treated that, as much as I love you, I have to walk away. And you got to be strong enough, woman, to pick yourself up and step away because you are worthy. If you don't believe you're worthy, you will never be treated like you're worthy. And I'm looking at this camera and I'm looking in the eyes of every woman that I'm talking to. Because if I had known what I know now when I was in my 20s, I would have never gotten myself in that situation. So a lot of that was my fault. I'm not excusing what he did, but a lot of it was my fault because I continued to allow it. Because once it started and I didn't shut it down, I just continued. I use every excuse in the book because I had small children, which were factors. But this happened long before I started having kids. And I should have shut it down at that point. So the way you value yourself is what you're going to get in a relationship. If you don't think much of yourself, the man is not going to think much of you. If you don't treat yourself with priority and like you're worthy, taking care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit, no man is going to treat you that way either. So you got to start with you. You got to start with you. If you got to start with the inside or the outside, I don't care which one it is, but whichever one needs the most help is where you need to start. You know, you got to look in that mirror every morning. You got to tell yourself that you're worthy. You know, you don't have to be feeling that you got to be looking a certain way. It's really not about that, because I think beauty is on the inside anyway. So the way that you treat yourself and love yourself on the inside is going to reek and radiate outside of you. And that's what people will see. They'll see the physical beauty too, but what they'll see is the respect, the love, and how you value the woman that you are. And until you do that, you're going to continue to get the same type of man over and over and over again. He's just going to look different. It's going to be the same man. So start with you. And if you're not ready to put yourself out there, don't step out there until you feel so good about yourself that a man will be able to see it as well. And that is all I have to say tonight, ladies. It starts with you. It starts with you. So I hope you guys can get something from this video. If you have any comments or feedback, please put it in the comment box below. I can get so passionate about this sometimes, and I stutter, and sometimes my words are coming out faster, but I mean everything I just said. If you don't value yourself, no man you meet will. No man is going to love you back and heal you back to where you need to be. You got to love and heal yourself first. So I'll talk to you all later. Hope you have a nice evening. Take care. Bye.